Hey guys, how you going? Today I want to talk into a subject which is probably not very popular, I reckon. It is politics. And I guess in the whole scheme of things, we're talking peak performance, leadership. So I guess, politics does come under the radar when we're talking about leadership because we are under leadership. And I'm just going to give my spin on it. To be honest, I don't think that I've ever been more disappointed or embarrassed, let down around our leadership. Locally, nationally, internationally, it's just the only word I can come up with is it's embarrassing, to be honest. That's how I feel about it. I feel embarrassed about our leaders. I feel like we're at a real crossroads where more and more, like, I feel like the community as a whole is getting more awake and aware. And we've never been fed so much information before. So, as now. So we've got a lot more information, but it's kind of overwhelming as well. And I think the thing which is overwhelming is what's true and what's not, like, how do you know? You can show a photograph to someone with a spaceship in it now and people are like, it's fake. It's like, is it? I don't know. Is it photoshopped? Who knows? God knows. Trump made an amazing opportunity for himself just by calling things fake news, whether it wasn't, he just called it fake news. So now what do you believe? The media, and it's just so disenchanting from being part of a population that is led by people that is obviously swayed by companies and organizations that have a vested interest. They're getting their money from those organizations in order to make political decisions in certain ways. And I looked at, I often look at Ben Shapiro. He's sort of a world analyst, I guess, or he's a commentator. He's got a very strong point of view about many things, Ben Shapiro. He showed me something this morning, which was President Biden, and just like the guy is just like well, they're calling him senile. I mean, I saw the video and it's just how this guy is leading a country of one of the most powerful countries in the world right now is mind-blowing. He's getting old and he just can't hold information. And, they're calling him senile, and I can see why, because he's just inept. He's just completely. So, and then you've got, if the only other choice in the States, and I know this is talking about US, but if the only other choice in this whole of America is Donald Trump, then where the frig are we heading? Like, how is it possible that the best people that the United States has to offer is an 80-year-old who can't retain information, or President Trump, who is just, I don't know. I can't even comment because it's just, I just don't see how in that country of how many population that is your best representatives. And then I look at Australia as well, and I don't know about you, but I can't even look at Albanese. I have to turn it off because it's just so embarrassing that this is the leader of our nation. So politics for me is, I don't think I've ever been more disappointed. And I feel like now is a time that we really have to lean into. We've got to create something different because these are the leaders that are making choices on our behalf. And I'm just hoping that, and I guess, look, this is my whole thing, like if I pare it all back, the whole thing I'm I would love for people to do more is to lean in inside, spend more time inside to get a real like sense of who you are and your intuition, so that you can make more powerful decisions and not just bend over and follow these leaders, because these leaders are just taking us down a path of destruction and greed. And, you know, it's, if we keep on going the way we're going, like, it's just, you know, I mean, I could go into so many different arenas here about choices made around the oil industry and mining and all this, and overwhelmingly making more decisions based on the companies that are giving them money, rather than like the barrier reef, like protecting the barrier reef in Australia. I mean, how can we even contemplate that underwater ocean mining around or in the vicinity of the barrier reef is a good thing? It's just, how do we get to this? Like, you know, so I guess the whole thing I feel around, and where do I feel my part in it? First of all, this is just it's just subjective. It's just my viewpoint. Like, just like you've got yours, and I, you know, respect mine, I respect yours. And I feel like that, you know, if I take, you know, I'm going to take my mum here as a great example. I mean, she listens to 4 downloads of mainstream news every day, probably 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, listens to a current affair. And that's her point of reference for life, is that stuff. You only have to go to, you know, a different media source like, you know, SBS or Al Jazeera or something like that, a world news. You get a completely different news than the world news you see. It's just, you're just being fed what they want to hear. Like, so my whole point, like, why is my relevance for this? Because I believe that we've got to stand up, and we have to be able to change our leadership. Jesus, yeah, we have to like do this. And I mean, what's the point here is to, I guess from my side, is to not just roll over and just like vote for whoever is there. Like, just have to listen to your intuition. You've got to lean into what is right and wrong inside, because fuck knows, like, honestly, like the information that we're fed, what is right, what is wrong, we've got no idea what is right and what is wrong. So you've got to lean inside. You've got to listen to what is true inside, because otherwise we've got no reference point. I guarantee you're just being fed shit every day. So the only reference point that we should be listening to is but if you're not spending enough time inside, like listening to it, then you just got to deal with whatever is out there. And, you know, so my thing, I guess, is always, you know, how do we go back to nature? How do we go back to a true reference point? Listen to your intuition. You know the right and the wrong. It's in you. You know the right and the wrong. You just need to spend more time there. So, and, you know, as an example of, you know, I've been listening to this guy, Alex Antic, you know, Senator Alex Antic. He's actually a senator in South Australia. If I was to put one person up that is a politician with some kahunas, like some actual, it's that guy. Yeah, have a look at him up, Alex Antic. At least he doesn't roll over. I don't agree with everything he says, but at least this guy does not roll over. He actually truly believes, and he's prepared to go against the norm, and he's prepared to like absolutely go at it with his heart and soul. And you can see that he doesn't give a shit about anything else other than the truth for him. Amazing. That is amazing leadership in today. You can just sense that guy doesn't owe anyone to anything, and he's just driving it forward. So I encourage you to go listen to him. You know, even if you don't agree with some of his concepts, you got to give him value, and you got to give him credit for friggin' standing up and actually leading with principles. And, you know, I think we need more of him to, you know, get rid of this old lot of bullshit that is just sitting still there. These like old dudes leading our countries. Fuck them. Like, just, we've got to get rid of them. We've got to get people who are like, truly have the world's best interests at heart being our leaders. That's what we need. Anyway, that's my rant. I don't know. You can comment if you want politically, those are things. Generally speaking, I don't, I'm not going to like, don't give a shit, whatever the parties are. And I'm talking about our reference point, how we need to lean in more to get the truth from within in order to drive it forward and to get better leaders. That's my reference point. That's the reason for making the video, is that, I don't know, if you're shitted off with the leaders that we've got right now, feel free to comment. But yeah, anyway, there you go. Rant over. Done. See ya. Bye.